Ted, if you can hear me. I'm getting ready to start, so just be ready. If you can you hear me? Okay. I don't have you in yet. You're still in the waiting room, so I can't hear you, but I'm just making sure. Once it comes across, there it is. All right, welcome to Conversations with Tad. I'm Michael Patton, and me and Tad are going to have some more discipleship stuff going on right now. He's being kind of rude to me, so I don't know how this is going to go. And we both kind of in honorary moods, I think. We didn't have any pre-game talk like we normally do. And then we get on and act like we didn't have a pre-game talk. Well, we didn't have any pre-game talk this time, so I'm going to go ahead and bring him in. Hey, man.
I don't
You don't know what?
I don't see you, bro.
You don't see me?
No.
Dude, we're live to the world.
I don't see I see all these weird like things. I don't know. I don't see you. Hold on.
Now I don't see you. Well, we were going to have conversations with Ted. That's why you do the pre-game stuff. I thought it'd be fun not to this time, but looks like we should have. Well, if any of you guys want to discuss anything, I got the chat open right here. And until Tad gets back in here, I can discuss things with you if you have any questions or anything you want to talk about. What do you want to talk about? What do you all want to talk about? Type it in wherever you're at. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I think it'll all show up here. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it will. All right. Well, let me bring up something here. Here is something I've been doing recently, and maybe you guys can comment on it. I am still in the development of my course on essentials and non-essentials. Got held up for a little while because of technology, but now I've got something that is really exciting. Oh, well, I can't do it. Can't do it. It was really exciting, but now I can't do it because Tad's back. Hold on.
Because Tad's back?
Yeah, I was going to do something else.
Like a chart?
Yeah.
Hey,
Charts are the best. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I can see you. Yeah, you look amazing. Oh, my God, Michael.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Oh, my God.
You're making me blush. Come on, stop it.
So you're in a fasting thing right now, right? Until Wednesday?
No, that was last week, bro. Keep up. You were here.
Okay.
That was last week.
I didn't know you're fasting. Yeah.
That last week, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be up there Thursday to see some stuff, and then I can't wait to see you.
All right. Well, we saw each other last Thursday, so
great. And I'm sure you smell terrific.
All right. What do you want to talk about, Ted? Do you have something you want to talk about? Because if not, I do have some things to bring up, of course, but I'm letting you run the show. It's Conversations with Tad.
Yeah. I'd like a buddy of ours, Kelly, text me something today because I am excited and God's very involved in my life right now. And he did Exodus 14:14. And I read that more than once. And I think that's a great topic. And then I'd also like to talk about, this is going to crack you up. It's Halloween season or whatever you call it. An exorcist, like exorcism.
Well, that's a good topic. That is a darn good topic. With exorcism. Yeah. The Lord will fight for you. All you have to do is be silent.
Well, that's not
good.
easy.
That's a good one. I mean, I do think although it's in Exodus, I do think that that presents a broad theological principle. Sometimes whenever you're reading in the historical books, like in Exodus, it'll bring something up like this, but you have to ask the question. It just because it's in the Bible doesn't mean it applies to you. Sometimes it's a historical situation, like Paul told Timothy, or told Timothy to have his coat brought to him and the books brought to him. It's not like there's some principle about we're supposed to be bringing people Bibles or clothing people. That's other places. But usually whenever you look at these historical books, you look at it and you say, because whenever you said that, I was like, oh, it's probably something inside of a passage that is talking about something completely different. We're notorious as Christians for treating the Bible as a magic book. Just because it's open, just because we read it, just because it's meaningful to us, we have interpreted it rightly. But all the time, whenever you're interpreting the Bible, you have to interpret it according to the context that it was given in. But this particular passage, I could be wrong, but I do think that it is very legitimate to say that this is Kelly did good there. That you could say this is broadly applicable to us and to you, because that is a general theme of the Bible, that the Lord fights for us. We are to be still. That is a passage in the.
I think it's funny you said applicable instead of applicable.
Applicable.
Yeah, it's applicable.
Well, I'm from Oklahoma. We say it how we want.
I am too. Yeah, we say applicable in Oklahoma.
Oh, really? Really? You want me to bring this up, dude? I will bring it up and test it out right here in front of everybody. You want me to do that?
Do it right now.
No, I'm gonna let you go for now. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be kind.
You want, man. Put me on the spot as much as you want, but it's called applicable.
Okay. Is it Saint Augustine or Saint Augustine?
Augustine.
No, it isn't. Oh man, I'm so disappointed in your discipleship process. That was the worst thing you could have said.
It's Augustine.
it's Augustine.
Dude.
No. There's not many ways to do it. There's not many ways to do it. It's only Augustine.
Rhonda says similar instead of similar. That's like
similar. I say it like Rhonda. Similar.
No, it's well. How do you? Is there a U in that word?
I don't know. Don't ask me how to spell. I never said I could spell.
Yeah, well.
I'm a theologian. I can count to 3, and that's as far as I can go in these things.
Yeah, 3 + 3 = 7. I get it. But hey, tell Abraham if he's out there that I said hi. And it's Augustine, bro. I mean, that's just how it goes.
That's fine, man. Uneducated people say that. It's all right. If you were here, I'd pat you on the head and say, "Good little boy."
You'd pat me on the head. All right.
No, seriously though. I mean, tell me about this passage and tell me why it's so meaningful to you right now.
The Exodus 14:14.
Yeah, the Lord will fight for you while you keep silent.
Yeah, 1 is because of who it's from. 2, it's for the reason it was sent. And 3, I'm learning. I've never heard of Exodus before, so there's 3 things there, and it meant a lot to me. I mean, it was just kind of like, okay, Tad, slow your roll. You know, we got time. Life's good.
Are you anxious?
What?
Are you anxious?
Very, very.
I'm anxious all the time, man. That's why
really all the time.
That's why this passage was meaningful to me too. I was like, I needed that today bad. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can be the most anxious part. I know I've talked to you about this before, but I mean, it's, if anybody brought up and said, Michael, what's your biggest problem? What's your biggest spiritual defect? I mean, there'd be a lot of them, but this one here, I mean, I do have trouble trusting the Lord. It's crazy. I mean, that's what our faith is all about, is to be still and know that I am God, to let the Lord fight for you. And it doesn't matter how many times he comes through for me. I mean, seriously, he's come through in the craziest ways at the last minute type. He's a last minute type God for me. He never gives me what will make me comfortable. He's always keeping me on the edge and before him in prayer. And I think it's good. I mean, I think that's the best. I mean, I'm not giving the Lord advice, Lord. Okay, I think you're doing good. Don't worry. But if I were him and if I were talking to him, if you could put in a word, tell him, I've done it for long enough. I've got it down.
Right.
I don't need that type of stuff anymore. Yeah. The prayer that you can say. But it is a problem with me, and I don't know why. I feel guilty about it a whole lot because I'm like, why can't I just trust in you? I mean, you come through every time. Why do I have my plans, everything that I have in my mind, and if it gets put in jeopardy, then that's where I start to fall apart. And it's hard. I think it has to do a lot with expectations of other people, going all the way back to whenever we talked about you are not who you are who you think other people think you are. And that still controls me too. It's like, what do other people think about me? I mean, what are they going to think? And so I put all these things together to be stable and to trust in him. And then he kind of just says, no, we're going to go a different direction every time. We're going to go a different direction. And I don't mind him coming out of left field and doing things differently. It just drives me insane how late he waits so often.
Mm-hmm. I'm writing this down. So when you said, so what are other people going to think? I talked to, I've been on the phone. I've talked to a lot of people today, but one of them was a buddy of mine that probably wasn't a buddy of yours. But, and it's funny when you kind of get into, when they understand that you're going through this journey of God,
Yeah.
And so I got to talk to him, and it was good to talk to him again. It's been a little while, but I wish I would have said what you said, and mine was just kind of not that distinct, but it was more of like, here's where I'm going, here's what's going on with me, and it's a journey, and it's and he's kind of gotten into it also, and so it's weird for this guy and me and you, honestly, to be going through this journey at the same time. He's married to somebody, and I'm going to be married to somebody that has the same thoughts and and
Yeah.
And so I think it truly takes, a person that you're with, whether male or female. I mean, I don't care. I don't give a shit about that. But to guide through this, just to kind of say, okay, here's what we're going to do. Here's what it is. And just to bounce things off. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, at least go through the problems with you. I mean, it's like whenever I talk about this stuff here and tell you that I am anxious a lot. The one thing that I can do is I can come to you and say, no, just read that passage, memorize it. Here, let me give you some other passages to memorize. And then at that point, that's whenever you start to feel sort of isolated. Oh, Michael just does this and he overcomes it. Why can't I just do that and overcome it? And I think that goes back to us being real in the Christian community sometimes, or any community. We are very rarely real, and therefore we isolate other people because they don't know the connection that you have through the struggles that you go through are the greatest thing. I mean, that's what creates relationships, is being in the foxholes together and being deep in the going through problems and going through difficulties, and to share life, the joys with somebody is amazing, but to have somebody that you can go through this kind of stuff with, and it's one of the things you got. I mean, that's why I said that. That's why I said that at the beginning. You read that, but at the same time, I read it and I got comforted.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
In John chapter 16, verse 1, this is Jesus. This is the day before he's going to be killed. He's sitting in the upper room. This upper room, kind of a second story on top of a house that
John
has
3:16.
huh?
It's always John 3:16 or Matthew 16.
No, this is actually John 16:1. So
Oh,
it's chapter 16.
oh.
But he's going through he's preparing all his apostles because they're all sitting around and they're still not really sure what's going on. I mean, he said he's going to Jerusalem to die. They don't believe it. They know he's supposed to be the Messiah, so they're sitting up there having this Last Supper with them. This is called the Last Supper, and they're probably sitting around in circles, all on their not in table and chairs, but just leaning on one another. That's how they used to do it. They'd sit down, maybe on a pillow or on their knees, and lean over on each other. And so they're all just sitting there having fellowship. And Christ starts talking all this weird stuff to him in John chapter 15. He's saying, a little while longer, I'm not going to be with you. But in a little while after that, I will. And they're like, where are you going to go? What do you mean? And they're all saying, I'm going to go wherever you're going to go. We've been following you for the last 3+ years, and I'm going to follow you everywhere. And he's saying, no, you don't understand. There's going to be trouble and trials. And if they hated me, they hated you. Everything that I've gone through, you will go through stuff similar. Do not be surprised, he tells them, by all the troubles that you have, because the world first hated me, right? All that stuff before this passage I'm getting ready to say. And in John chapter 16:1, he says, the reason why I'm telling you all these things is to keep you from stumbling. And the only reason I'm bringing this up, Tad, is because this was in my reading this morning. And it was the first time that really jumped out at me, to keep you from stumbling. And it's like, I'm telling you about all the troubles, the trials. I'm giving you a good theology of what your life is going to be like and what you can expect from me. And he basically says, you can expect to go through hell, but don't worry, because I've already told you this. You don't want to be surprised in the end. You don't want to come on the other side and think, oh, becoming a Christian, you have all these things that God will now do for you, and you can expect all of these things. If you do A and B, C is going to come, and the C is going to be the blessing of God. That sets people up for such a disillusionment in their faith. And that's why I've told you a million times that it was so good that you went through Job first.
You always told me everything a million times. You said,
no, I mean,
it's
still impressive to me that you read through the entire book of Job. And I know you told me
I've read, Michael, you have no idea what I've read.
I know, but yeah, I know what you read. You tell me all the time. Don't
a million times.
You've told me a million times what all you've read. but
I was talking to our buddy. Listen,
yeah,
and he died a few times, and he talked about that. Me and a friend of mine have come to God in a way of just going through kind of a process. And he's like, man, I died 3 times at the same time, kind of, he's there.
Yeah.
And he died again, he died again, died again. And he said, are you part of the flock? And I said, I don't think I'm part of the flock. And he goes, you're going to believe in the beard in the sky. And that kind of, I don't know, I didn't like it. But that's what he said. He called Jesus a beard in the sky.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a big deal to me. I'm going to see him Thursday at 3. But yeah, a beard in the sky. What do you think?
Well, I think it's just a way. I haven't heard that particular one, the beard in the sky. I mean, you hear, all kinds of derogatory things that make people feel better.
What's the other thing I texted you? He said, I can't look it up on my phone. Another word for, it's on your phone. I texted it to you. He just this way that he put.
Is it recent? Is it recent?
Yeah. My name's Tad, so it's probably under Tad.
Yeah, I don't know.
I said Ford said this.
Oh, higher mindedness.
Yeah. And so that's where he came from. He came from the higher mindedness. He's like, that's what I felt. And I thought that was like a great way to talk me out of God and a great way to talk me into God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how he felt though. I mean, and he's gone through stuff I've never gone through and you haven't gone through either. So
what does he mean by higher mindedness? What do you mean by that?
he didn't find God, even though he's seen his dad, his grandpa, his great grandpa, and
So he had a near death experience. Is that right?
He died.
Well, I know that's what they call them. Near death experiences when people die and then you come back. It's the death experience is final.
So he called it that, and and so we talked today, and he had a higher mindedness experience, and he goes, I don't understand why you and my other friend believe in God now. And because we are all kind of,
Well, if he had a near-death experience and he saw the afterlife, at least to some degree, even if he didn't see God, what does he think, that there's an afterlife and everybody's together, but God's not there?
I don't know.
Do you know,
higher mindedness.
9 to 20 million Americans alone have had near-death experiences. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but he died.
Well, that's the same thing, Dad. I'm telling you, you don't. I'm not. They're not. They didn't have death experiences, and death experience would be where whatever they're experiencing now after they're dead. You have to be clinically dead. You have to be brain dead. You have to have no cardiac arrest, or your heart stop, your brain to stop, and then somehow to be brought back by doctors or whatever means, sometimes it's different.
That's where he is, and that's why I can't wait for him to be on here. He did it 3 times.
Oh, I'd love to hear it. I had a friend that was in Frisco.
20 times.
18.
18. All right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
She did it in 20.
Huh?
She
probably has. I mean, she's probably died a few times. I mean, honestly, she's probably died a few times since I saw her last or talked to her. Maybe up to double that.
Dying all the time, man.
She just had a bad heart whenever she was born, and it's just something that she can't get the transplant done. When she finally gets it done, I don't know. I don't even know how it's worked, but I should have kept up on that better.
To her one day? I'd love to talk to her, please.
Oh yeah, same here. I need to get her on here. She may be listening. She's on Facebook, so.
What's her name?
I'd rather not say. She knows who I'm talking about.
Hi.
Yeah, she knows who I'm talking about. I don't want to tell everybody something that might be very personal for her.
I understand. No, I don't like putting names out there either. But just let her know.
Yeah, it's near-death experience. I'd love to talk to him about it and try to figure out, hey, did it change your worldview?
He'll do it all day long.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk about it.
Well, if you're listening, I mean, here's the questions that I have. Did it change your worldview? Why or why not? That'd be the main thing, and then we can go on from there. It's odd. It would be very odd to me to meet someone who has had a near-death experience that, number one, it wasn't a positive one. Well, I guess 20% are negative. 20% of near-death experiences are negative, like a hellish type experience. And the reason why I'm saying this, you got the Journal for the Study of Near-Death, or the Journal of Near-Death Studies, and you've got official, non-Christian, non-religious scientific community that is studying this now. So it's interesting the way they're framing it and what they're doing with this kind of stuff, because there seems to be a general consensus now, even on this a small, but it's growing because nobody else knows what to do with this, that we have to include the afterlife into our scientific studies, because we are so sure that it does happen. And if you are somebody who's secular and doesn't believe in God, you have to find a way to understand it within your worldview. And I think that's going to be obviously a big challenge for people who don't believe in God. It's like, yeah, I believe in the afterlife, but I don't believe in God. But there are those people out there. I heard somebody just the other day say that exact thing.
That was a lot of information, but the afterlife is, yeah. I mean, like, what do they believe? Is it the afterlife, or is it yeah? That's never thought of it that way. So off you go.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I wrote it down, and I'm going to ask him. And I don't know. I never thought of it that way. Really, I thought death is the afterlife. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, they just define it this way just for this not not quite so uncommon happening where people die and come back. Yeah. Their heart stops and they come back.
Okay, so exorcism.
We're jumping around all the supernatural topics, huh?
Well, I told you we were going to talk about this when we started.
I'm trying to act like it's the first time I've thought about it.
Huh?
I'm trying to act like it's the first time I've thought about it, and like it's organic, and you just ruined it.
Yeah. Right.
So, okay. Exorcism. Okay.
What's Halloween season or whatever you call it, and let's just do a quick answer.
Oh, wait a minute. You did tell me about exorcism on this podcast, didn't you? I was thinking that was a phone call earlier. Forget it. Okay. What do you want to know about exorcism?
Is it real?
Yes, it is. In the Bible, you have Jesus. He was known as a miracle worker. He was somebody who they said even the demons listen to him and obey his commands. So you have him going around, and there's various people whenever he comes in contact with them, like this guy that's called the demoniac, who comes up to him. The demoniac. Because he had so many demons. But Jesus, he comes up to Jesus and he's yelling. He's saying, from the demon's perspective, what have we to do with you, Jesus, Son of God? It's not our time yet. And this guy, they put him out. He lived in a village, and they excluded him into a cave and put chains on him. But he was breaking the chains. That's what the narrative says, right? Mm-hmm. So he's breaking the chains. He's excluded. He's crazy. And then he sees Jesus walking by and runs up to him and says, "Hey, it's not our time yet. You can't send us to the abyss." And so Jesus ends up casting. Well, he asked them their name first, and he said, "What is our name? Our name is Legion because we are many." So there's a lot of us in here, right? Mm-hmm. And so Jesus commands him. Of course, he has authority over all spirits. And he commands the demons to come out, and he puts them in a herd of pigs, and the herd of pigs goes running off into the ocean or into the sea and dies. But a characteristic of these people is normally they're crazy. I mean, they're not of the right mind. They often are trying to kill themselves. Mm-hmm. So when you have people that kind of overcome and just have this intent to kill themselves, it could be a demon. I'm not saying it always is. I think demonic activity works in and with everything. It's not an either or ever. So like people depressed, does that mean they have a demon? No, not necessarily. It just means that demons can work through that depression, can put whispers in your ear and say, "Hey, why isn't God come to help you?" And that kind of stuff. Or any type of mental issue, demons can work in and with. And so you have a lot of that stuff going on in the scriptures. You have Jesus casting demons out, and then you have the apostles casting demons out as well.
Okay. This is probably the Catholic coming out in me. Okay. How do you get the demon out if it's really there? And is there really, truly, like, the whole prayer and all this kind of stuff going on? You know what I mean? Are you
yes.
on this? Are you with me?
Oh, Yeah, I'm totally with you. I mean, I think I've told you about Angie, right? Whenever she
Yeah,
said she had a demon,
yeah,
and I was like, I don't know what to do, because I don't.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
and I went up there and I put my hand on her head, which basically I've seen it on a movie, maybe. Put my
Right.
hand on
Yeah.
her head and said, "In the name of Jesus, come out."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I said right afterwards, "Anything happen?" But ever since then, I actually have a book right here that is the Catholic understanding of demon, how to get demons out, and it's just a little thin book, and that's the things that you say, the Latin phrases that you say, the prayers that you say, the chants that the entire room goes into, and I find it very interesting because I look at these kind of things and I say, how does this work? Because I don't believe in the Catholic stuff, but I do believe that this
Sometimes
works.
I do.
It actually does seem to work if you study this issue, and as critical as you want to be, as long as you're open to the idea that these demons do exist. If you study it, you look at it and you say something's happening. These Catholics are having an effect, and
Yeah.
Protestants usually stay away from it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Tad, listen to this. Not only does that have an effect, but it seems to be that shaman have an effect as well.
Who?
So other religions,
Who?
shaman, witch doctors, that kind of stuff, kind of more of a primitive religion type thing where they would bring you to
Witch?
the
Witch doctors?
yeah, shaman. They're just the doctors of different tribes. Maybe an Indian tribe. Every Indian tribe would have their religious guy, and their religious guy would be called a shaman.
All right. I got to write this down, man. I never heard of that in my life. Okay. Is it like witch doctors? Like, which one do I go to?
No, no,
Like,
no, no, no.
you're a witch,
Like a witch, like
you
a
fly on a broom.
witch or a warlock.
Yeah. So you're flying on a broom. It's not like a witch.
I don't think it's that kind of person. The shamans are just medicine men. They're highly
Man. Okay. Well, I just wrote down witch doctor, and I'm going to leave the broom out of it. So go ahead.
yeah. But the thing is, you say, okay, well, what is going on in these situations? Why does that work? Why does a witch doctor work? People often use whenever they think a demon is bothering them, they will use different sage. They will burn sage in their house, and it seems to help. And so you've got all kinds of situations that it seems to help, and you're like, okay, well, how does this work if this isn't from God? If God didn't, because you look in the Bible, and there's nowhere in the Bible that says this is how you do it, right?
Right. So if somebody like has one of those people come into their homes and do that, what's that? What do they
Yeah,
call it?
the sage
Yeah.
or the
Yeah. And they
blessing of your
go
home.
in, and it's almost like we can get back to poltergeist actually, and that's kind of
Yeah.
where I'm going with the with the exorcism.
Well, I have never done that. Never had it done. It's not like a regular occurrence. It's just something that fascinates me in a lot of ways.
You think it works?
I do. I do. I think it works for a time being. Now, it's interesting because listen to this in the Old Testament, right? The Old Testament doesn't have a whole lot about demons, but King David, the king of Israel, he was a shepherd before he became king.
And how long was he before or after Jesus?
King David was 1,100 years before Jesus,
Uh,
1,100 years.
oh my God, dude. Okay.
So and that's David and Goliath again. So you have him before he becomes king. He's a shepherd boy, and he is being called by the current king of Israel named King Saul. And King Saul, it says in the text, there are evil spirits that are tormenting him. So he had David come and play the harp, and as he played the harp, the evil spirits would leave, which is interesting. I mean, it's like just
Yeah.
playing the harp.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, yeah.
What was it like 1,100 years before Jesus in your mind? I mean, are they in castles and shit? Are they like, what's it like? Is that like the gladiator type stuff? or
Well, that's Rome, but yes, I mean, in some ways, very much. I mean, it's not like technology changed that much. When the Romans came, you did have more technology start to build, but everybody had kind of the same thing back then. I mean, you have the houses that are,
where did he
according.
live?
Where did King David live?
Mm-hmm.
He lived in Bethlehem.
Yeah. All right, makes
Yeah,
sense.
but he was. But he played the harp, and the demons went away. It said every time he played the harp, the evil spirits went away. That's in the Bible. That's not what I'm telling you from somewhere else. And so even the Bible says that there are means that God has given. We sometimes call this common grace. God has given grace to everybody. If you're a Christian or not a Christian, the sun shines on you. If you're a Christian or not a Christian, it rains on you. And so there are common means, it seems, that God has given to the world to deal with demonic activity. So it's not necessary that you, like a tribe that doesn't say in the name of Jesus, I call on you to come out, doesn't have to do that necessarily. I'm not saying it wouldn't work better. Of course, the authority of Jesus is much more than the authority of a song that you're playing on a harp or the authority of sage. But there seems to be some natural things that repel demonic activity.
Yeah.
And also listen to this.
Michael, how long have we been going?
36 minutes. Are you getting bored?
Just a little bit.
How can you get bored about demonic activity? It's amazing.
Well, because I'm thinking other people are getting bored too. And
dude, this isn't about anybody listening. I've told you that a million times.
I could do this forever. I mean, I'm all
in. Well, let's finish the deal on demonic possession. Right. Ask any follow-up questions. Why are you asking that? Why is it interesting to you? You said I want to talk about exorcisms.
Yeah, because I think it's weird. I don't know if I've ever, if one's been in me and maybe I needed to be exorcised.
Yeah.
And I don't know if seizure is the same thing as exorcism. I don't know. There's a lot of things I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Sometimes I've been in my mind and I'm like, is this, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Do I need to be exercised right now? Not exercise like I got to go work out or run or something.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, think of it this way. The less you have God in your life, the more the doors are open for all kinds of other stuff.
You know what? I'm going to argue with you.
Okay.
Because I think what I'm learning right now is the more I have God in my life, the more I have to argue and deal with other things. So I think you're wrong.
But with demons is what I'm talking about. Specifically.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not saying the more you have God in your life, yes.
That's what I'm talking about too. I mean, dude, when I've got God now, I mean, and he knows I'm there, I feel like I've been fighting with more stupid shit as far as like God and the devil and this and that. But then you also get these things that are unbelievable that happen, that people are watching and they're talking to you and this and that. So I think it's just part of just kind of walking around and living, really.
Well, what you're talking about is the difference between, like, let's say you've got Satan and he says, who should I mess with today? Should I mess with this person over here that's trying to follow God or this guy over here that's not following him at all? He'll go to the guy that's trying to follow God because he's already got this other guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're talking about demons and we're talking about demonic possession. A little bit different here.
All right.
Because demonic possession is where they're actually inside controlling you. That is not as common as like just being hounded by Satan who's trying to get you to sin. Mm-hmm. This is a demon who takes up residence inside you. You have opened the door. You've done Ouija boards. You've called him into your life. You said, hey, I'll make a deal with the devil. All those kind of things can open up doors for demonic possession. And so if you sat there and you said, man, I really want to be demon possessed, I would say you probably can be. I mean, all you have to do is kind of open the doors however you want, because demons are looking for a place to live.
All right.
So that's why I'm saying there's a difference between the troubles you go through with Satan and evil forces from the standpoint of them harassing you and actually being possessed. I don't think that if you're a Christian, I'm not positive about this, but I don't think that if you're a Christian following the Lord, that you have room for Satan to get in there. One real quick story. Jesus said, whenever an evil spirit leaves a person, he leaves and goes to wanderless places in the wilderness that waterless places, in the wilderness. And so somebody casts out this demon like Christ did. The guy has nothing inside him anymore but himself. The demon leaves and says, man, Christ kicked me out. I got to go somewhere. And then after a little while, he says, hey, I've got to find some place to get back to. And I'm going to go check on that house that I was in before. And it says, Jesus says, whenever the demon comes back, he sees the place is still empty, which basically means there's no God in your life, even though Jesus casted him out.
What was that guy's name?
It was just a story. It was a parable type thing. It wasn't something that you had a name on it.
Okay. Ouija boards are funny. We'll talk about that next time.
Yeah. But anyway, so as long as you have your God filled in your heart, as long as you are pursuing him, I don't think there's any bothering in that sense that a demon can do to you. You're not going to worry about having one possess you.
Okay.
You want me to tell you what that scripture is? Is that what you're looking for?
Yep.
All right. Hold on just a second.
And what's fun is that I saw you at your place and said, now I know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you had already been here before. You just hadn't seen my setup.
Yeah, I didn't really care the first time. I cared the second time. So,
what did you say earlier that was really funny? While I'm searching for this, you said, I finally understand Amazing Grace.
Dude, man, we don't have enough time. Let's. Okay.
I'll just tell you this passage real quick, and then you can then we can pick that up next time. Matthew chapter 12, verse 43 through 45. When an evil spirit leaves a person, he goes into the desert to seek rest, but he finds none. Then he says, hey, I will return to the place where I came. So it returns and finds his former home empty, swept, and in order. Then the spirit finds 7 other demons more evil than himself, and the second state of the man is worse than the first. So it's basically, if you have a demon cast out of you, the first thing you want to do, the first thing you get a demon out of you, the most assured way is to trust Christ. They can't live in that environment. But if you have had them cast out of you, the first thing you want to do, even your house, haunted houses and stuff like that, where demons are there.
Yes,
seriously.
Yeah.
Why? It's good stuff.
No, you threw me in a freaking.
We're talking about demon possession, and you don't want to talk about houses that have demons in them.
Well, you were talking about the haunted. You're the one that brought the haunted house.
Well, that's what I mean.
You know what you did.
That's what I mean by it.
Oh, but you know what you did.
Demon haunted, or maybe haunted to something else. All right. Okay.
All right. Off you go.
All right.
Love you. I'm going to talk to you again, and we're going to do one more.
All right.
Goodbye.
Bye. I'm just going to bring Tad back, I think, here. That's what we'll do, rather than me closing it down. And then Reed can edit this, and he can edit it. Just put it on the music as you're talking just a minute ago. So here we go. You ready to go again, Tad? Shake your head yes, if you want to go again. Okay. Welcome to Theology Unplugged. No, don't welcome to Theology Unplugged. Hey, wait a minute. I got to change the title here. Conversations with Tad. Can I change it on the fly? Now 22. And maybe this time we'll talk about what I thought we were going to talk about, but it doesn't matter. He's got it. And stream ready. Okay. Welcome to Conversations with Tad. I'm Michael Patton, and I am going to bring Tad in and talk to him about discipleship once again. Last time we talked about demons and exorcism, and he acted like I was weird. We'll see if we can overcome that this time and see what he wants to talk about here. All right, Tad.
Michael,
what's going on?
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
It's been a while. Hey, you haven't even noticed that I have a blue shirt on.
It looks gray.
Huh. Nope, blue.
Okay, well,
it's blue.
Like
how you doing?
Blue.
It is baby blue. Yeah, it's baby blue.
Okay, so you're gonna laugh at me, but this is gonna be a topic, and you called me emotional, and you didn't mean to say it the way you said it and how it came out.
You've been thinking about that ever since, huh?
Yeah, man. It's hard to hear if you're a man.
I admit you're emotionally acute.
Yeah.
Anyway, aware.
So I listened to with Rhonda.
You're getting all emotional about this.
Oh, you have no idea what's about to happen.
Okay, go ahead.
So Rhonda and I listened to Amazing Grace last night a couple times, and the words in that song kind of ring true to my life, actually. And I want to know your thoughts about it, because that's probably one of the greatest songs next to The Dance. You're going to argue with me about Bono.
Garth Brooks is what he's talking about. He's comparing Amazing Grace to The
Dance. I know. I knew you were going there. But really, though, I mean, what a great song. You ever heard it?
Yeah. You mean the hymn, right? Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound, you saved a wretch like me. Yeah, I mean, definitely. Tell me what. I know you've heard it before. Tell me about the difference this time.
It meant something. Like, I've sang it, and I was asked to sing it at my church and by myself. And
when you were a kid?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And
Tad can sing. I'm telling you guys, he really can. I mean, he can sing country songs. He can. I've never heard him sing Amazing Grace, but maybe we can now.
Yeah. So, the words are perfect, and I need to look up who wrote it. I thought I wrote it down, but and my phone's about to die, man.
Really?
So, yeah.
Well,
but I want to know what you think about it. I mean, that's probably, next to, your stupid.
Well, it's great. I mean, especially if you know the story behind it. You ought to read that tonight.
I don't know anything about the story. I don't know anything about it.
Read about that. If your phone's about to die, we're going to have to stop. But read about that.
Plug it in. I mean,
okay.
I got a helper here. I've just been on the phone all day. Hold on. It's not about to die. Like, I've got 20% or whatever.
Oh, well, you're the one who felt the need to tell me that.
Well, you can still talk.
Well, I thought you were saying my phone's about to die. We have to stop. That's what I interpreted it as.
That's because you're paranoid. Tell me about Amazing Grace and the story behind it.
Okay, so I don't really remember that much. I've actually read his biography before a long time ago, but John Newton was a slave trader, and through a long series of events at the same time as you had the 17th century, the 1600s, I believe it was. But John Newton was a slave trader. He was not a Christian. He didn't believe in God, and he went through a time where there was a massive turn of events in his life to where he was, I cannot remember it all, but something about where he was in the bottom of his ship about to die. And
there's something going on over. We can't find, what am I looking for, man? I got Ron to help me. Oh man, you turn it off. Turn the whole thing off. Michael, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh man, so people can hear this. Hey.
Hey.
Yeah. So we had a little ordeal. But that's life happens. Everybody's
That's all right.
Everybody's got a thing.
That's okay.
So who?
Let's see here. John Newton. That's what you want to write down. John Newton.
All right.
He was in the 1700s. Okay. But he was a slave trader, and basically he ended up almost dying in his own slave trip, in his own slave ship, and ended up turning to the Lord. And that's what Amazing Grace is about how bad he was and what a bad person he was in so many ways. I mean, his entire life was just filled with debauchery and hatred of God, and just, of course, slave trading. And from his perspective, for God to come and save him in the midst of who he was, what he had done with his life, he couldn't help but write that song. So the whole song, whenever you look at it, whenever you say, hey, it's meaningful to me now, I bet it is, because it's very much, like John Newton, your life, my life. Whenever we see what God has saved us from, we ought to all be able to look at Amazing Grace and sing it that way.
Can I tell you my favorite parts of it?
Yeah, for sure.
I like oh man, I told you I was going to cry about this shit. You saved a wretch like me. And that I don't know, it's just for some reason at 52 years old, it hit me hard. I mean, we've all heard this song a million times, and for some reason last night it hit hard. You saved a wretch like me, and
yeah,
that part, and then you're gonna make. I know you're making fun of me right now. And then I once was lost, now I'm found, and now I see. And what's better than that, man? I think you gotta get. I think you have to go through a little life to get lost. Everybody thinks they're lost at some point in time. And it's not always the point in time that they're lost that they think they are. But once you get to a point, you're like, I'm lost, man. And it's all in the same song, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all in the same song. Like, he figured it all out. I'm sorry. He figured it all out in one song. And yeah, it's a good one. I wish I would have written it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like you said, it's so funny. You understand it now. It's just amazing to me listening to you say this kind of stuff, because, it's like I'm sitting here thinking it's how hard it is to get someone to the point where they know they have to be saved. And you said you got to get lost first, and you not only that, but you have to know you're lost.
Okay, your microphone sounds terrible, for one.
It does?
Yeah. And two, I hate the word saved.
Well, tell John Newton that.
That's a good point. Yeah. Well, is he still around? Can I talk to him?
No. How about
now? Can you still hear me?
I can hear you, Echo.
How about now?
No, I can always hear you. It was just kind of distorted.
Well, I've changed from my.
I like this one better. It's an echo, man.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, let's just keep it that way. It'll be funny.
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Well, I don't know that anybody else. You may be getting an
It's
echo.
total echo, bro. It's all from your side.
Is anybody else getting this echo? If you are, just type it in the text. Say yes or no if I'm echoing. Have I been doing this the same time?
I gotta show you. I gotta show you. Yeah, I gotta show you this deal from this other podcast that I can't get enough of. It is hilarious. Anyway, all right, I'm done.
You're done?
I think so. I mean, you're an echo right now.
All right. Well, we'll figure this out. Maybe we'll talk about it. I don't know. I was having sound problems last time we talked, so I don't know what's going on.
All right.
And I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's just on your end, the way you're hearing me, or the way it's being delivered. So we'll have to wait till afterwards and look. Are you saying that the entire time my sound was distorted, but now it just got worse?
The last 30 seconds.
Okay. Well, we'll do it next time. We've gone for an hour, so we're good.
All right, man. I love you, Michael.
I love you too, man.
I love you.
Really, hey, really, that was cool about Amazing Grace. I mean,
yeah.
we'll probably get rid of this whole deal, but that's cool.
It's
I do man, I do. I love it. I love that you cried. I do. Sorry.
Yeah, you're gonna make fun of me. I know this.
I may make fun of you, but I don't want to.
All right.
You got to understand how much I know I shouldn't. But
but the funny part is how much I know you should, and I get it. That's the funny part.
I mean, honestly, it tells me that that stuff is really affecting you. That affects me.
Amazing Grace is probably the greatest song on the planet.
Yeah.
Next to the dance.
All right, well, I'm leaving you. All right, I'll see you, man. Love you.
Off you go. I love you too, Michael.
Bye.